Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder and CEO at Motoroso, your dedicated mods marketplace. And a few weeks back, I did a 10-day adventure bike ride down the Baja Peninsula with 4 of my buddies, and this is my 2016 Ducati Multistrada Enduro 1200. The bike performed really well, but coming back from that trip, there were a bunch of mods I knew I wanted to do, and since then, I've built it up to be my dream adventure bike, and I'm gonna share all the mods that I've done in this video. If you didn't see our Baja series, check that out. We'll put a link to that right here. We had a lot of fun on that trip, pretty enjoyable. Hopefully that inspires you to head down to Baja if you've never been. In the meantime, let's talk about what I've done to build up my Ducati. First up on your mods list, if you don't have crash protection, you're gonna want it. The reality is, if you're gonna go on adventure rides and you're gonna start getting frisky in the powder, you're probably gonna set the bike down. Hopefully it's just something low speed and you tip over, but if it's anything harder than that, you want a little bit of crash protection to stop the bike from getting truly banged up. Now, Touratech is one of the best names in the industry, and they make the Ducati crash bars for the Multistrada Enduro. And they had a really tight relationship with Ducati, and they made it so that you can't even buy Touratech crash bars in the aftermarket. And those are usually pricey, but really good. When you get them from Ducati, they're like $700, really expensive. And they come in that nice silver color. Well, frankly, I didn't want to pay $700 to Ducati, so I found these Jivi crash bars, and these were about $200. That is a super bargain for me, and they're tough, they're strong, they're made out of really heavy steel, and they're black. I think the black looks really good. If I'm honest, I think the raw steel looks better, but the black looks really good, so I'm really happy with that. Now, when I went down to Baja, I ran a duffel bag in the back. I didn't have pannier bags. The duffel bag worked out pretty good. I used rock straps to keep it tight, and it was all right. But I definitely realized I would like to have panniers instead. I wanted to keep the weight a little bit lower and balance the bike out, make it a little bit more stable. But I didn't want to get hard cases, but I wanted the versatility to be able to get hard cases if I ever wanted to. So what I went with was the matching Givi side Pannier Racks. Now, these racks cost about $350, which again, very good price for Pannier Racks. They're made of an 18mm steel bar, which can basically accommodate all kinds of different mounting brackets, and it gives you a wide range of opportunities for what you mount to it. And what I decided to mount to it, after looking at all the different options, first of all, I did not want to go with hard cases because I really like this adventure riding. I'm not planning on doing too much like road touring, so I'm going to do more adventure rides. And that means if I tip over, I don't want those hard cases. Yeah, maybe they're durable enough to stand up to the punishment, but man, if you get your leg or your foot trapped under those hard cases, that's going to suck. So I really like the idea of soft cases. They're lighter, they're a bit more pliable, and they're just not going to trap you under the bike as easily. So looking around the different options out there, I landed on getting a set of the Giant Loop Motor Treks. Now, the Giant Loop Motor Treks are a dry bag. It's all integrated. It's got all the straps, and it's a roll top. Super easy to use, very simple design, but tough, rugged, definitely going to be able to resist the elements, and they only cost $359. So on top of that, you can get their quick release mounting plate, which is another $270. So for just a little over $600, you can get locking quick release pannier bags that are soft and you can attach and detach very easily. Giant Loop also makes a bunch of really cool little accessories like small bags, that are essentials bags they call them, that can get attached to this system, and you can mix and match all these components together really nicely. So we do sell these on Motoroso.com. You can check them out on the website, or you can give us a holler and we'll help you find what you're looking for. Now, I'm still on the hunt for a way to get a top case on this bike because I'd like a proper locking top case, especially the one from Jivi. The Outback series looks really great and it'll match all my other Jivi stuff here, but it doesn't seem like the universal plate's gonna work, and there doesn't seem to be any other solutions out there. So we're still really on the hunt for that. So we'll put out another video if we do find something that allows us to do that. And I know I'm not gonna pay $1,100 for the Ducati Touratech branded one. Continuing on down the hard parts and protection, I got myself a set of bark busters. Now, the plastic handguards that are on the Ducati Multistrada and the Multistrada Enduro are known for being really delicate. If you dare touch them to anything, they're gonna break on you, and that just sucks because then they're flopping around. And your turn signals are integrated in them, so you do need them there. So the bark busters mount around the outside. They're only about $115, and those are gonna be tough enough to stand up to some low speed falls that won't cause those to break, and they're gonna protect against trailside debris as well. Now, on those long stretches of roads, even the Multistrada's stock windscreen, which is adjustable, was not enough to really protect me from the buffeting. And so what I did was I invested in about $125 in an aftermarket LUGGAGE windscreen that is made for those long treks. It's about 4 to 6 inches taller than that stock windscreen, which even in this tallest setting gives you a huge amount of protection, but you can actually push it all the way down. And I found that even in its lowest setting, it's better than the highest setting from stock. So I really, really like that. It also comes in 3 different color options. You can get clear, light smoke, or the dark smoke option. I love this. It makes the bike look really, really aggressive. All of them the same price. That's more of a personal preference thing. If you love the sound of a twin-cylinder desmodromic valve Ducati, you're probably as disappointed as I am in how these bikes sound from the factory, unless you sprung $2,000 for the titanium Termione exhaust system, which I didn't. And I'm not going to spend that in the aftermarket either. Instead, to open up the sound of this machine, I went ahead and got the Cat Delete mid-pipe. This cost me under $200 to put this mid-pipe in and lose 15 pounds off the bike in that Cat, and it sounds awesome. Now, if you want to learn more about that whole exhaust system, including how to install it and how it sounds, check that video out right here. Now, we paired that additionally with a Power Commander 5. Power Commanders are important. After you do an exhaust modification like that, anything that changes the flow of the air, you definitely want to put a Power Commander on there to get it tuned more properly and open up the rest of the power that the bike has to offer. This was majorly noticeable. And a Power Commander is under 350 bucks. It's a fairly extensive installation, and we'll put a video of that installation right here, but it's definitely doable. There's a lot of panels to pull off, but you can do it yourself. You are getting almost all the way down to taking the tank off though, so one of my other recommendations to get a little bit more power and performance, but to do it while you have it taken apart, is the air filter for this bike is sitting under the tank. So when you're all the way in there, just go ahead and put yourself a K&N Performance air filter in there while you're at it. They're only like 50 bucks. Again, link to that in the description. When you're riding at night, you definitely appreciate the LED headlights on this Ducati Multistrada, but if you're off-road on a trail and it's pitch dark out, you're wanting more light. So one of the things that I went ahead and did was installed a set of Baja Design Squadron Pro aftermarket lights, and these things are serious. They're putting out 5,000 lumens per light. That's a total of 10,000 lumens out of these 2 little 3-inch cubes. They mount up easily to the Jivvy bars. This is their universal kit. You can get it with a 1-inch clamp or a 7/8" clamp. If you've got the Jivvy crash bars like me, then you need the kit with the 1-inch clamp. The lights themselves have a polycarbonate lens, so they're impervious to rocks. They say they're practically bulletproof, and they're moisture resistant. They're actually submersible up to 9 feet. So these things are tough as nails. The Squadron Pros are $500 for that kit. Now, if you want to save $75, you can go down to the Squadron Sportsman, and they're 3,000 lumens per light. Still very, very bright. But listen, for 75 bucks more, just get the big boys. And they come with 1 spotlight and 1 floodlight, and you have 1 on each side, and this gives you the best spread of light overall. And that can be wired directly into your battery the way that I have it. So you just hit that button and you can mount that nice and clean right on the handlebar. Or you can have it wired into your high beams so that when you flip your high beams on, that triggers them to come on through the relay. Now the Ducati Multistrada Enduro and the Multistrada also have a dedicated button for aftermarket lights that's wired into the computer. If you want to go through the trouble of doing that, you have to find the wiring in the harness, then you have to go to the Ducati dealership and have them switch it on in the computer. That was too much trouble for me. I'm not going to leave the things on and run the battery dry, so I just wired them up so I can use them anytime I want, even if I'm parked and the bike is off. And one of the most important things you can do on any adventure bike is make sure you get the right tires that are going to perform in the type of riding that you're doing. Now 50/50 tires are very, very popular because they'll roll pretty nice on the road and they'll perform good sidewall stability so that you can hit the curves. But when you get off road, they're actually going to hook up and provide you the traction that you want. Now what I opted for, and I did this one mod before the trip that I went on, I got myself the Dunlop Trail Max Missions. These things were fantastic. I was really, really pleased. Now I have a background mostly as a street rider. I love street performance. I used to race in the AFM series. So I really care how a bike performs in the corners. And these things still hook up really nicely in the corners. And surprisingly, for being a 50/50 tire and looking pretty chunky, I thought they'd be really vibey on the road, and I don't feel it at all. They roll really, really smooth. But when you get off-road, man, do they hook up better than the tires that this thing come with, which I think is the Pirelli Scorpions or something like that. They had no grip off-road compared to these things. I also like what they've done with the sidewall here. They kind of took a cue from the aftermarket automotive category for trucks, and the sidewall has these little knobs that makes it look more aggressive and really makes it look like a dual sport bike. And this is a 120/19 up front, a 120/70/19, and in the rear it's a 170/60/17. And this set will cost you around $425, and I was thrilled with the way that they perform. So there you have it. That's my perfect adventure bike build out of my Ducati Multistrada Enduro. If you have any questions about any of this, hit us up in the comments, or you can contact us at 833-Motoroso. And if you want to know more about that exhaust system or the Power Commander 5, head on over to those videos, and you can see the exhaust video right here. Thanks for watching.